Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So guys, till now we have learned how to create REST APIs such as post API, get API we have seen in the previous videos. So the code we have been using such as that product management system, I have committed that code in my GitHub repository. So this is the repository where I have been committing the code. So link for this particular repository I will share in the video description. So do check it out, clone this particular project and run it and hit the API. Okay, so till now we have been creating the product management system and we have not been following the what we say application architecture. So there is an architecture that we have to follow in when we are working in a Spring Boot application. So I am having an image. So this is the Spring Boot flow architecture diagram. So what is there is that client has to communicate with the controller and controller will communicate with the service layer. So the service layer we have not created till now. We were doing this work of service layer in the controller itself. So today we will be moving all those changes that are meant to be in the service layer to the service layer. So those changes we are going to do today. So let's get started for that. So let me open the Spring Tool suite, and this is the same project in which we have been working, and all our APIs are there in this particular project. So let us create one more package which will be a service package. Okay, so new package, and it will be com.product.productmanagement.service, and inside this we will create one more class which will be a service class. So what is the approach we follow? So there are OOPS principle. So one of those is abstraction. So we do not want the calling methods to know the implementation of our method. So what we do, we will create an interface of that service class, and that interface we will be calling into our controller classes, not directly the service implementation class. So that is a thing we follow in Spring Boot application. So the same thing we are going to follow here as well. So let us create a interface first. So this is not going to be a class, this is going to be an interface, and this will be our product service interface. Okay, and this will be implementing the service class. Okay, the service class which we are going to create after that. Okay, so let us first create the service class. So let us change refactor this particular package and give it the name as interface. So we will go to source refactor and rename. So we will give management dot interface dot service. Okay, interface we cannot use, we can give, okay, that's fine. And now we are going to create one more package with the where we will be having a service class. So dot service, and inside that we will be having our main implementation of the service class methods. So that will be product service. Okay, and this interface we created will be implementing this particular class, which is nothing but the product service. Okay guys, so this interface is not going to implement this service is going to implement this interface. So we have done opposite, so let's correct that. So let us remove this from here and let us go to our service class, and here it is going to implement the interface. Okay, so product service interface, yes, now it's fine. So so all the methods which we are going to define, we are going to give the implementation in the service implementation class. We have to first define those methods here in the interface. So we will define those all methods over here, and those implementation will be given into the class where we are implementing this interface. Okay, so this is how we achieve the principle of abstraction. So let's save all these changes and let's start converting from the first API. So let us go to our product API class and let us move this particular add product method to the service class. Okay, so first what we will do, we will create a method in our interface, service interface which we created. So there will be a method which will be, so by default all the methods which you define in interfaces are public, so no need to define that. So it will be add product, where is the product API, so the response will be string and this will be the method. Okay, so the return type is going to be string, and this is the method which is going to be implemented in the service implementation class. Okay, so let us save this and let us again go to the product API class. In this we have to move this whole logic into our service class. So let us cut this and paste it in our service class. So first, so now this is giving us an error that we have to implement the unimplemented method. So let us do that. So it is showing at that override. So we are overriding the method which is defined in the product service interface. So let us remove these to do comments and let us paste that logic over here. And what we are going to return is, okay, so we need to return the HTTP status as well. So for that, what we can do is we can create a DTO object which we will be returning back to the API, to the controller class. So let us that be add product DTO. Okay, and this particular object is going to have two things. First one will be the string result. So let us say private string result, and the second one will be private string HTTP status. So that we need to, okay, it is not going to be string, it is a enum class HTTP status, HTTP status. All right, now let us generate getter setters for this. Okay, that's done. Now let us move to our service class, and here, okay, instead of this, first we have to change the interface as well. So in interface we are going to return the add product DTO object, and in a service class now we also have to do the same change, add product DTO, and we will be creating an object of this particular add product DTO class. Okay, we are done with that. Now the logic is going to be same, and now here we, in the service class, we are going to interact with the repositories. Okay, from the controller we do not interact with repositories. It is a general good practice that from a service class we will be interacting with the databases or the repository classes. So let us auto wire that over here, and this product repository we will be importing that, and let us use the same name. Okay, so okay, I have imported product service. It is to be product repository. Yes, now it's fine. Okay, so nothing we are returning. We have to add a return statement, and first we have to add data to this particular object which we are going to return. So let us say dot set result as result, and if it is failed, then here we need to send it, set it as failed. So let us do that over here. Okay, I don't think we need to have a string called result. We can directly add this to that object and we can return that. So let us do that. Okay, and same for this one, we will be adding directly this created, and we will be updating that according if it is a failure case or not. Dot set http status, and that will be this particular value. Okay, and if it is failed, then we are going to add this, set it as this one, dot bad request. Okay, that's fine, and now we have to return this particular project object, sorry. So return add product DTO, not the object, this one reference. Okay, now our service class changes are perfectly done. So let us move to the next API and let us remove this changes from the product API class. Okay, they are already returned. Now from here we have to call, actually from this controller, now we have to call that method to get that data back. And let us remove this repository class auto wiring. And now we have to do auto wire for the service class interface. So we created an interface for the service class that we are going to call from this particular product API controller class. Okay, so let us auto wire that interface, product service interface service. Okay, and now we are going to call that method from here, dot add product, and we are going to pass the same thing. And now we will be getting the add product DTO object back over here. And from this particular object we will be getting those two values. First one is the result dot get result, and second one is http status dot get http status. Okay, so the implementation for one API is completed. Now let's move on the get API. So what first thing we need to do, we need to go to the repository interface class, service interface class, and define this method over there. So let's go to this service interface class. And what is the return type of this particular method? Return type is list of products. So same we have to return. And we will be saying that it is a get product method. So what is the input we are getting for this method? We are getting no input. So we will be getting all the data back from this particular API. So no input is there. So that's it. And now let's go to the service implementation class. And in this we have to now implement the that particular method. So let us do that now. And from here we are again going to call this product repository. So the same logic we have to do what we are doing in the controller class. Now we are shifting that to the service class. This to service class, and here we will be doing that, and we will return this list. Okay, and now the controller will be calling this particular method. So this product service dot get product. Okay, and this product list we can directly give it over here. So this is going to return a product list. So directly we will return that. Okay, we have completed for 2 API. Now let's do it for update product. Okay, so let us again go to service interface and let us define this third method, which is the response type is again string and HTTP status. So we can use the same add product DTO over here. So let us rename this one. Instead of add product DTO, we can say request DTO. So refactor rename, or we can say only the product DTO. Okay, so again now this update method is going to give us back the object of product detail, update product, and again the same request body we are getting over here. Okay, so from here we have to remove this request body. That is a REST based annotation. We do not require it over here. We are just passing an object to this particular method. Okay, that's it. Now let us move to the implementation class and implement this method as well. Okay, and let us use the same logic we have used in our product API class. So let me move it to the service class, and this we have to create this product DTO object again. Now let us say it is update product, and again we do not need these variables. We will be setting these directly. Set status as this, and here we will be adding the result string directly to the update product detail class. Okay, so dot set result as updated. Okay, and in the other case we have to set this string, so let's do that. Okay, and we also have to map this particular case where we have to send it as failed if there is some error which occurs inside this try block. Okay, so we are done with that. Now we have to return the this particular object, return update product. Okay, so implementation for this class is done as well. So let us call this particular service class method from the API. So we will be having product service dot update product, and the same product list, this product we are going to send, and we will be getting the product DTO object in return. And from this we are going to get the result. Okay, we are done with that. Now let us do this for patch API as well. So the method is going to be, okay, we are going to have patch request as the input to this particular method. Let us create a method for this in the service interface class, and it is not going to return anything back. Okay, so this method is not going to return anything, so it will be void. And now let us implement this method in the service class. So let us have that method over here, and inside this we need to implement the same logic. So let us get that logic from the API class, this, and let's paste it over here. So this HTTP status created we have to send back. So the response will be HTTP status instead of void. So once the operation is done, we will return this HTTP status dot created. Now we have to change the same in the interface class as well. So here it will be HTTP status. Okay, now let us call this method from the controller class, patch product. and we are going to get back the HTTP status for this particular method. So let us get that. And the status we are going to return back as the API response status. Okay, that's fine. And now let us do it for the last API, which is the delete API. So let us again go to the service interface and add one more method. And what will be the response of this method? I think it will again be HTTP status. Yes, and this will be the method arguments. So let us remove this request body. It is not required over here. Okay, this method we have also added in the service interface. Now let us give implementation for this method in the service implementation class. So let us get the dummy for that particular method. Okay, here we got that. So let us give the implementation. Now let us get that implementation from the controller class. Once it is done, we have to return http status.created. Okay, so now let us call this particular method from the this class. This dot delete product. Yes guys, so the changes are complete. We have followed the principle of abstraction and we have moved all the implementation part to our service layers. Okay, so let us clean the code as well. So it is showing us some unused imports. So let us remove them also. And I think this update request object we have not used. So let us see. We can remove that. So I have removed that, and this date object we have not used anywhere. This request body is not used in this class. Fine. So we have removed. Okay, we have to send this particular response status, not this one. Okay, fine guys. So let us run this project and see how our API is doing. Is it working fine or not? So let us run this project. Let us open MongoDB as well. So we will be able to track the changes as well. So under our product DB, this product is having only one entry, which is with ID 2. So let us go to this REST API collection. Let us add some more records. So let the product, this ID is going to be 1, and the data, let it be, let us change it to Nokia, and let us save this. Let us send this. Okay, I think there is some issue in our project. Let us check that. Okay, so the bean for this particular interface is not found. So why this is happening, guys? Because we are not using the annotations. So I told you, like, for if we are auto wiring repository somewhere, we have to use that @repository stereotype annotation. So similarly for these classes, such as service classes, we have to use @service annotation, which we have not used. So because of that, we are getting this particular error. So we will be using @service, which is a stereotype annotation. Now Spring Boot will maintain a bean of this particular class and will provide it when we are auto wiring it. Okay, so let us try to run our project now. Yeah, see, now it is running fine. So that was the issue. So let us now hit the post API and see if our data is getting added or not. Okay, so our data is saved. Let us go to MongoDB and check it. Okay, we got that. Now let us hit the get API and see we are getting all the data back or not. So ID 2, then ID 1, we are getting all the data back. Okay, fine. Post and get API working fine. Let us go to put API. Now let us update this to Samsung. Okay, that's fine. Where ID is 1, the title should be Samsung for the product ID 1. Okay, so let us do that. It has been updated. Let us go to database and let us refresh this. Where the ID is 1, the title should be Samsung. So update API is working also. So let us go to the patch API. I think the last one was delete API. Okay, we have not saved it, so that's why it was showing patch. Okay, so let us give this and see if the title for this that product changes to okay or not. So it is also successfully processed. Again, let us refresh it and see we got Nokia or not. We got Nokia. Okay, so all the APIs are working super duper fine. So that's how we can move the implementation to our service classes, and this is the approach we have to follow. And let us have one more package which is called the utility package dot util. So what is going to be there under this packages, such as some common parts, such as some common validations we are having. Let's say the object you are providing to the methods should not be null. uh, so for this conditions we can have a common class which will be a utility class. So we will be naming that particular class as utility class, because it will be having some side functions which will be helping our main functions to perform their functions. Okay, so let us create that class. We will be saving product util. And okay, so let us close the server first. So how we are going to do that? So now again, if we do not give any annotation, this particular product util object or bean will not be provided by Spring Boot. So in this case, what annotation we need to use? So there is a special annotation in which is there in Spring, which is also stereotype annotation. So we have to use at the rate component. We cannot use at the rate service over here, because service has to be used only in the service implementation classes. So there is a distinguished way of using them, which is defined by Spring Boot. Okay, so we have to use at the rate component. So once we do that, now Spring Boot will maintain a bean for this particular class. Okay, so we have to give at component over here. So let us save this and let us create a utility method. First, let us go to our product service method. Okay, so this we can move to our utility class. Okay, so what we are doing, we are getting this product list in the add product method, and we are adding the date. So the created date will be the local date dot now. So today's date will be added to that particular product data. So this we can move to the utility class. Okay, so let us create a method in product utility class which will be add date. So the return type will be nothing, will be the return type. We will just be passing that particular object reference to here. So we will say public void add created date, and what is going to be the input to this particular method will be the product list, this particular list of product. Let us import the list from java.util and this product from our DTO classes, so from entity classes. Okay, so we have done importing. Now what we have to do, we have to perform the same function which we are doing in the service class. So let's move that implementation to the utility method. Okay, so we will be getting the product object over here, products. not the product list. Yeah, now it's fine. So let us remove the unused imports. Okay, so this method will perform its operation now. And now this particular class we have to uh, do the wiring in the service class. So we will do again at the auto wire, and now we will be getting a bean of that particular utility class back into the service class. So we will give product util. We will be importing that class over here. Product. Okay, I think let us save that first, otherwise it will not show me the suggestion to import that util. Okay, so now we will be calling this util class method over here, util dot add created date, and I will be passing the reference of this object. Okay, the same thing which we were doing earlier here is now done by a utility class and utility method. So that is how a utility method helps us. It helps us maintaining the code cleaner. So now the code looks cleaner. So this utility function is separated out from the service class implementation. So that is the approach we follow, and let us save all the changes. Okay, now let us run this project and try to hit our API and see if it works or not. So let us go to the add API and let us give the IDS 3, and the credit date we are not giving in the request, so let us send this. We're getting 201 saved. So let us go to the database and refresh it. Okay, we are getting the third object over here, which is this one, and the credit date it is getting now, or now also. Okay, so it is working fine. So that's how we can create a utility classes method, and we can use those methods in the service classes. Now let us stop this particular application. And one more thing is there, that there might be sometime cases where we have to define our own configuration classes. Let's say I want to define some custom implementation for MongoDB interface. When we are interacting with MongoDB, I need to create some beans or something. So those have to be come under a config package, and some different annotation has to be used for them. So let us see that now. So we'll create a one more package which will be .config, and inside this package we will be having a one more class which will be product config. Okay, so what we are going to do over here, we will have to use one more annotation. So for this one also we will be needing bean, but that bean will be need to be initialized earlier only, because we will be, this is a config part. So before the application runs, this config has to be done before the application runs. For example, if we are creating a MongoDB bean, we will be using that bean in our project directly. So that bean has to be available first hand before that particular calling method is reached. Okay, so for that we will be using the annotation @configuration. So this is again a stereotype annotation. So what this will do, this will tell Spring Boot that this is a configuration class, and bean for this particular class has to be created earlier. Okay, so this is how it is done, and let us save this, and we can have something in this particular class. Like for example, we can create a bean for Mongo template. Let us do it for Mongo template. Okay, so this is just for an example. I'm not using the correct values right now. So what we are telling over here, that this is a configuration class and @bean. So whatever is the return type of this particular object should be mapped as a bean. So whenever we are asking, or we are using autowired for this particular method at this particular object Mongo template, so this particular bean should be returned. This is how it works. @bean annotation we have to use, and whatever we are returning, Spring Boot will maintain that particular bean. And whenever we are asking for the object of this particular class, so like for when we will be doing @autowired, and in the autowired we are asking the object of this class, and let's say we are saying that it is a template. So when we are doing this, at that time, this particular object which Spring Boot maintained as a bean will be returned. We will be calling this in a service class or utility class anywhere. So this is how it is going to work. Okay, let us save it. Okay guys, so today we have covered how we can move all the code implementation which we are having in the product API controller class to service classes, and how we can follow the principle of abstraction, and how we can use the utility class configuration classes. So a lot we have covered today. So guys, go ahead and try it out by yourself. You can clone the code from the GitHub repository link, which I will be giving into the video description. Okay, so guys, that's it for this video. Till then, see you in the next video.